everybody, it's Hippodippin here, and today I have a Pokemon analysis for you. A subscriber asked me to go ahead and do Thundurus, and I'm like, you know what, sure. I usually don't use legendaries, but you know what, you guys asked for it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. As you can see, Thundurus has two forms, Thundurus Incarnate and Thundurus Therian. You can't see it there, but it's kind of blocked off. Anyway, the two forms are pretty different in terms of what they can do. The Incarnate form is a little faster, but the Therian form is a bit faster and hits a bit harder. So, let's go ahead and look at them and what they can do. So, first off, with the Incarnate form, for his item, I decided to give him a Life Orb, just because he needs that little extra boost. I mean, his special attack stat is crazy, but it's always helpful to have a little something extra just to make sure that you're going to be hitting, hard. So Life Orb was pretty good. You could also run Expert Belt, or maybe even a, I forget the, or like a magnet, there's a plate for it too. I can't remember the name for it. But yeah, you can run Expert Belt, that's fine too. I usually like to stick with Life Orb though. I mean, I don't ever use legendaries, but I can just tell from looking at this Pokemon that Life Orb would probably be a little bit more effective. So that's what I usually like to do. And for his ability, you're going to want to stick with Prankster. Defiant's not going to be that helpful because you're not going to be using your attack stat. And if you are hit by an attack, usually your defenses aren't the best and you're going to be taking quite some damage, so it's not going to be worth it. Priority does matter, let me tell you that much. Prankster is one of the best abilities in the game, and that's what we want to stick with. And for his moves, I already picked out a few. Thunderbolt is pretty obvious, it's a pretty good move. Hidden Power Fighting, just to hit some of the flying type weaknesses that come along with him. As well, they give him a little bit extra coverage. You could also go with, Flash Cannon, but Hidden Power Fighting does have that extra bit of coverage, and that's something you want to look for in a Hidden Power. So, I decided to go with Hidden Power Fighting. Nasty Plot, because you know what, man, Nasty Plot always works. Always, it's awesome. And not a lot of Pokemon have access to it, so when they do, it's usually a good idea to go ahead and take advantage of it. And you know what, it's a pretty good move, so I decided to throw it on there. Volt Switch is a pretty standard move on a electric Pokemon, and if you wanted to have it on there, it's a pretty good move. So but there are other options. For example, if you didn't want to run Nasty Plot, you could go ahead and run Thunder Wave, and that would paralyze the target, and it's guaranteed that you'd go first, unless they did like an extreme speed or something. But disregard that. You're going to get plus priority on this Thunder Wave, and they are going to be paralyzed if they can. So that's a really good move to have on it. I mean, you could also run status moves like Bulk Up if you wanted to really surprise them. Personally, I wouldn't. You can go with Agility, or you know what, you could run a bunch of different stuff. Rain Dance even, if you wanted to run Thunder. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. But thanks to the Life Orb, you do have access to a slightly more powerful attacks, so maybe if you just wanted to go ahead and start attacking, you can go ahead and run Life Orb and forget about the Nasty Plot. But the Nasty Plot is always a really good option, so I like to usually run Nasty Plot. Also, I try to be, I try to take into account, I don't want to be the player where it's going to be annoying to the opponent, so, I think Paralysis is one of the most annoying abilities, or annoying statuses, so, you know what, I'm trying not to run it. I know I had a team with a Porygon 2 on it that had Thunder Wave, and I replaced it with Toxic, just because it's a little less annoying, so, that's that. But, if you want to go ahead and run Toxic on there, it's on here, man. Anything you want, but, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty standard moveset for Thundurus. Yeah, this is the one I'd run if I would run him. I don't run Legendaries, so no, I don't. But that's gonna wrap it up for the Incarnate form. For the Therian form, what we have here is a little different. if we look at his ability, it's going to be Volt Absorb. So if you can see, you know, like, let's say you have a Pokemon that's 4 times weak to Electric. I don't know why you would have that, but let's say, for example, you did, like, Mantine or Mantiike, or it's one of those, or Swanna, even, you know, for example. And you had a feeling there was going to be an incoming Electric type attack. You'd switch this guy in, he'd get a little bit more HP. So that's kind of good. But for his item, I decided to go ahead and run Choice Scarf, just because you're not going to get that Prankster priority. So Choice Scarf does help because he does get a speed reduction in this form. His speed in this form is 101, and then in this form it is 111. So yeah, he gets a 10 points minus, but it does make a difference. So I like to run Choice Scarf, just make him a bit faster. That always helps. For his moveset, it's going to be pretty similar to the past one: Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Fighting. And in this one, you can go ahead and run some kind of special move like Dark Pulse, Psychic. I decided to run Psychic because usually my teams are kind of lacking in the Psychic, you know, Psychic coverage, excuse me. I might have Alakazam on there, but hey, Psychic coverage is always a good thing, especially with the Poison types now that are becoming more popular as a counter for the Fairy type Pokemon. So Psychic is actually a pretty good move to have on there. You could also run Grass Knot, or, you know, Flash Cannon if you wanted to, Dark Pulse. I mean, you can run a lot of different stuff on here. You could also run Sludge Bomb, but you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stick with Psychic. It's a good move, but if you wanted to run something else, by all means. It's all what depends on what your team needs. And yeah, so that's pretty much Thundurus in both of his forms. I'm Hippodippin. If you like the content, subscribe, leave a like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. You guys are great, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks.